Hey y'all, I'm Alison Asarch from Nashville, Tennessee.
Hey, I'm Sean Fraser from the Ritzy Kids.
Hunters, this is Johnny from Rail Motor.
Hey, it's Shane from Blind Season.
Hey, it's Rob Stanier, and you can check out my music on all the streaming platforms.
Check out my latest music on all the streaming sites.
Check out my debut album on all streaming platforms.
Check out our new debut album.
Check us out on Spotify and Apple Music. And you're listening to our friends, Braggy and Curly.
And my
Rossy.
favorite bands from Australia.
My two favourite podcasters,
Braggy and Curly.
Braggy and
Rossy.
Curly.
On the
Unfiltered and Undiscovered Podcast.
And Rossy.
All right. Shall we get going?
Let's go.
All right. How are we? It's Curly here, and welcome to episode 180 of the Unfiltered Undiscovered Podcast. Tonight, we've just got a really quick show, but it's a really special show. It's the first time we're doing a deep dive into a song that the boys know, and this is a new release from a band that we'll talk about in a very quick second. Undeterred, I faced down Cyclone Alfred and finally came out at the other end of it. And I'm very lucky, and we've got power. We were without power. The studio was without power for a number of days, but we've got power just in time to invite the two boys. So we've got Rossy from Sydney. We've got Braggy from Adelaide. How are we, boys?
Good, mate. Braggy and I were concerned we are going to have to do it without you, and that wasn't going to happen.
Yeah. Well, but I think wasn't it just rain depression, Alfred?
And let's not laugh about it. But
No, I know we shouldn't laugh.
I found it really interesting that on the Saturday morning after I've woken up, and Friday night was quite scary. Saturday night was even more scary. But you hear the rain, and while we still had that power for that very small window of time Saturday morning, all the TV stations are saying ex-tropical Alfred is planning to cross the coast. And I'm saying, oh, okay. It was supposed to be a Cat 2. And then it's now an ex-tropical cyclone. So it crossed the coast officially as a low or something, I've forgotten the name that they had for it, but anyway, it was quite humorous. But the tail had some kick, Braggy. So whenever they say watch the tail had some kick, and I'm sure.
Well, especially if it passes to the north of you and you get the wind from the ocean. So, but I mean, those ones when they come down that far, the water's much cooler, and it's the hot water, the warm water that fuels them. And especially if they're slow, then you get all that rain, that cloud, which cools the water even more, and eventually they run out of steam.
Yeah, and that's what ultimately happened. But can I tell you, by
still got to be safe.
6 o'clock on Sunday, I was over the rain. It was just fucking raining relentlessly, and I think I speak for everyone in Brisbane when we all collectively said, can you just fuck off now, Alfred?
Well, can you fucking send it to Adelaide? We're in a drought.
Yeah, truly. Yeah.
Yeah, the wine growers now are starting to freak. So
Did you have enough beers, Curly?
Yes, I did. And to be honest, I had an alcohol-free February, and I was tossing up whether to continue that on, but I think the Cyclone made the decision, and one of the days last week, I came back with the essential supplies, a carton of ginger beer for the lady of the house, and a carton of pale ale for me. So, but in all honesty, I didn't drink a lot during the Cyclone. I guess it was, you just
good to stay prepared. Never know when you got to go out and.
Had to be agile, right?
Move a tree.
To be agile, yeah. So for all our Brisbane listeners, I know our good friends in Mick and Ursula didn't lose power. The lucky things.
Had a couple of drips in the kitchen, I saw. I was very concerned.
The worst thing that happened to them, I think they had a gig cancelled at the Cave Inn or something. Yeah. So
there's always a drip in my kitchen. Oh, that's good.
That's So we've talked about Brizzy and our good friend Alfred that popped in to visit us. What's been happening in your neck of the woods? Let's start with Rossy.
Sydney's just been delightful as usual. The weather's been fantastic, and there's just gigs everywhere. That's all I can say about Sydney.
This magical.
Yeah, we've got an interesting one next week. My very good friends, the Psychotic Turnbuckles, are playing a sold-out show at the Crowbar in Leichhardt, supporting the 5, 6, 7, 8s from Japan.
Wow.
Yeah.
And will you be attending at all to give us a review of how that show went?
I'll be paying very close attention to the show. I can let you know how they go.
Awesome, that would be great. It'd also be great to hear about the 5, 6, 7, 8s.
Yeah.
I mixed them on their first Australian tour in 1992, I think it was.
Okay.
Rossy, if you go to the show, can you try and steal us an interview with the Inflictor?
I'll try.
Because I'd really like to talk to him.
Angus, the stage guy for the Turnbuckles might be able to find him.
Okay.
Yeah.
We'll rely on Angus.
I think the Inflictor is really interesting because I think he's got an Instagram page too that at this moment in time doesn't have a lot of followers.
No, it doesn't.
It's almost like he's the dark horse of the Turnbuckles, you know. So stays out of the limelight a bit. I don't know. So.
Yeah. Mario Milano.
You can't trust those Ukrainians. You can't trust the Ukrainians.
The Ukrainian potato farmer.
Killer Carl Inflictor.
Hey, Braggy. Last time we spoke, you were talking about Wome Adelaide.
PJ Harvey. PJ Harvey, mate.
Oh, mate. I tell you what, I only went on the Friday. So the Wome Ad goes... It's a long weekend. It was a long weekend here in Adelaide because we have the Adelaide Cup because we're jealous of Melbourne having a holiday for the Melbourne Cup. So we have to have one for our fucking Adelaide Cup. But it's good because that's when Womad always is. But it's always hot. The temperature got up to like 36, 37 again. So it was hot. But I only went the Friday, which is a half day, which is good. And I just really wanted to see two bands. There was a band called Durant Jones and the Indicators or Indications. Fantastic soul, new modern soul band from Indiana in the States. But the main person I want to see was PJ Harvey. Man, she's probably 50 kilos ringing wet, but boy, she puts on a show, man. She puts on a show, and had a 4-piece band. They were all guys like in their 60s. Everybody was dressed in linen. I don't know. They might be all vegans. I don't know, but they were all they just looked like the 4 wise men. And I was with a friend of mine, Dawn, and we dragged ourselves right to the front. And Dawn was like, "My God, those guys are old, but they're all so good looking." So she had there's 4 guys. They look like the 4 wise men. All awesome musos, all switched around, could play any sort of instrument. And she hardly spoke, and I'm still trying to compute what it was all about because it had some deeper meaning. There was church pews on stage, and there was every now and then between songs, Rossy, she'd sit down at this little desk and pull out a diary in between the song and write something and then put it back in, and then the band start up and she'd sing the next song. I don't know what it was about. It's high art. That's what it was.
I had a lot of friends who'd gone over specifically to see her, and everyone just said it was just spectacular.
Yeah. Oh, man. It was mysterious.
Gotta love that.
I almost felt like I was in the grounds of an old church somewhere in England. You know, those old village churches. That's what it felt like. Because in between songs, there was ambient music that was like church bells ringing and birds cheeping. And
that's performance art. It's performance art, isn't it?
It was Bowie-ish, yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Look, I think I told you I've been listening to this podcast lately, and it's an English podcast. And in every episode you'll get, it doesn't matter who it is. Yeah, it could be guys from Pink Floyd. It could be producers. It always ends up in England talking about Bowie. Bowie is just such a touchstone for everything that came out of England.
Everything he did was art.
Polly Harvey, man. Yeah. Polly Harvey. What a great career, and that must have been so good for you to be there, man.
Oh, mate, we were just mesmerised, Dawn and I, and we were like, sometimes she was looking at me, and I thought, fuck, she's going to put a fucking spell on me in a minute. It's like a little white witch.
No one came out and gave you like a backstage pass or anything. Polly wants to see you after the show, mate.
I was hoping.
So the crowd didn't feel like it was like jam packed in there, Braggy.
Well, it's outside. See, it's in the park. It's in the the Botanic Gardens, which is next to the Botanic. It's in the Botanic Park. It's called, which is next to the Botanic Gardens. And it's just the best venue. It's great food. Everything's it's so well run. The festival, it's easy to get in, get out. They got water stations everywhere. They got places where you can go and get water. And the crowd's always respectful.
Yeah.
It's all that sort of hippie style music. So there's no mosh pit really. So.
But there was another one that we missed. We haven't mentioned, and I know that it would have been close to Curly's heart as well. Rick Buckler, Rick from the Jam passed away.
Yes.
And what an impact! What a band! What a man! What an impact! Yeah. Very sad moment. That someone of our generation passed away always makes us nervous, right?
Oh, yeah, it happens every day now.
It's becoming more and more so. So. Yeah, that was sad news to hear. So he was the drummer, wasn't he?
Yeah, he was the drummer. Yeah,
yeah,
and like, what a band! As I've gotten older, I love that band more than I used to. Funnily enough,
and when you think about them as the original like 3-piece, right? Just the power of their music was just phenomenal. So gotta love the Jam. And still one of my favorite songs is Going Underground,
Oh, yeah, what a song.
It's just got so much meaning. And even nowadays, it still has so much meaning. And the other one I really love is Standards. You make the standards and we make the rules. And if you don't abide by them, you must be a fool. It's just classic. It's just classic rebellious rock. So
you watch those clips of them, and that's the 3 guys just putting in. I just love that energy level.
Man. There's one they're playing at the Albert Hall or something, aren't they?
And
just smoking.
I really, really like the clip for Art School too.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that one made me feel a little bit sad,
Yeah, I did as well. So, so tonight, guys, we're doing a deep dive, and we're doing a deep dive on one of a band called the Ritzy Kids. They've been on the show. Sean has been on the show, I think 3 times. Braggy.
No, he's a legend. Right? He's one of the first show I was ever on. I think he was on.
And we spoke about his very first single called Breakthrough on one of the first episodes. He's also known as the man with the worst internet in the world because a lot of our shows were disrupted by technical difficulties.
Yes.
But he's now. Yeah, he is, and he works in radio still, I believe. So he's got the voice for it. He's got the pizzazz for it. But he'd actually make a bit of a difference to our podcast just quietly. But
Like us, Braggy, who've got good heads for radio.
Oh, he's a pro. He's a professional.
He's a pro.
Absolutely. Yes. So, but in those early days, right, it was just Sean. Like it was COVID. He was coming out of COVID.
Right. Yep.
And it was just Sean and Mitch was his producer and drummer.
Yeah.
And Sean basically and Mitch did it all. And now it's really, really pleasing to see that the Ritzy Kids are actually a band, right? And they play quite extensively. They had an album launch at one of Rossy's favourite places, the Lincoln Pin in Woy Woy. They've come down to Sydney to play.
Like the Oxford Art Factory down here.
Yeah. So it's actually really, really pleasing to see that Sean's taken his vision for the band and is actually making it real. So
because we had him on once and he was so excited because they were doing the first gig.
Yeah, absolutely. And now they're professionals. I was just before we sort of jumped on, I was playing one of their YouTube clips from their album launch and at the Lincoln Pin, which is one of Rossy's favorite places. But and it just looked amazing. So well done to Sean. But he's recently put out their latest song called Lately, right? So this is the very first time I reached out to Sean just to make sure it was all right, that we did a deep dive. He's excited to hear what you guys, how you dissect the song and dive into it. And he's really looking forward to that. It's a shame we didn't get him on, but I think that's also the beauty of just doing a deep dive. He's going to hear it from us. So same format. I'm going to play the intro. I'll stop it. let's get your thoughts around the intro and how it's building, and then we'll whack into when Sean starts singing into like a chorus, and then we'll finalize the song, and we'll just deep dive and just have a bit of a chat around what we're hearing. So,
Okay.
Sounds good.
I'm in.
All right.
I'm up for it.
Let's go. All right. That's the intro, guys. What are you taking from it?
I think before we came on air, we were talking to you. Asked me, "Did you listen to it?" And I said it was 2 chords. I'm wrong. It's actually 3 chords.
Yeah.
And I think it might be actually 4. And I'll go out on a limb and say I think there's a 4th chord.
Yeah.
In the chorus that I think is cool. But you start off, Rossy. What do you reckon?
What I like about it, and this is something that there's only the arpeggiated guitar over the top of the chords, just 2 patterns in, not too long. Don't
No. So that's
pop punk. You got me early.
Got me there straight away.
2 of them. 2 repeats and into Sean's vocal. That's what you want. You don't want to leave. You don't want to ball people. You don't want to drag it out. Let's go. And that is just that's what we're dealing with. And I don't think I'd be out of place calling it a pop punk song.
Yeah, it's a good Charlotte sort of vibe.
As we get further into it, I hear. I keep on hearing Body Jar myself.
Yeah. I remember that band. Yeah. It's definitely a 90s kind of vibe.
One of the things that I picked up, it's Ritzy Kids. I mean, and
it's their sound.
We've followed the Ritzy Kids since Sean was a young fella. So you just know as soon as you launch into it, this is the Ritzy Kids. This is what it's all about. Yeah. All right. So, Sean, I hope you're happy so far. Let's keep playing.
No, I hate the wrong you may not be around. Long enough to hear the words I never dared to say out loud. I think it's time we put this rivalry aside. There's surely nothing worse than the fate of love being tonight. Don't you think we're better off as friends? Lately I've been hoping to run into you. Maybe we could patch up a thing or two. Someone told me that you haven't been too well, that they've tried with all these chemicals. If they're working, they can't tell. So I'm reaching out, I extend my hand to you. I'm sorry about how this turned out. I hope you see this through. Don't you think we're better off as friends? Don't you think we're better off as friends?
So it went a little bit longer. What's going on? What are we hearing?
So I'll go. I might go out on a limb.
Yeah.
and I might. Sean's either going to go, "You fucking idiot," or he's going to say something, nice. So it's 3 chords. I think it's E, F sharp. But I like when he starts off singing by himself, Rossy, and then when he starts talking about the girl, who he's, I'm assuming it's a girl who he hasn't seen for a while, and they've had a relationship before. Then the high vocal comes in. So it's like the both of them singing, which is pretty clever.
Yep.
Because he starts singing about them two and their relationship, and so then another voice comes in. So it's 2, which is really cool. Go on, you go. I was going
to say that, and I know this may, I get, it's not that far from some of that modern country pop too, right? Like just the chord, the harmonic chord structures, and like modern country pop. Yeah, it's pop, right? and the pop element of it. I've heard that some of those elements in country pop as well as
absolutely
punk pop, right? Like, whilst it does lean into that, that pop punk thing, the melody is the harmony and the melody really, to me, give it more of a pop ethic than any other genre.
Yeah.
That's what's more prevalent to me, and I could actually hear that with a bit of tweaking, it could turn into a country pop song too, in a way.
Yeah.
Oh, for sure you could. Yeah, for sure you could. It's really clever though that it's only really 3 chords. Although I'm gonna suggest that there's a 4th chord in the chorus that I could be wrong with, but which if I'm right, it makes it super fucking cool. So it's the E, right? F sharp and the thing. But when it gets to the chorus, instead of being an A here, which I'm saying it's an E, an F sharp minor, and an A, I reckon the A becomes an A. Cooley, you won't understand this, but I'll explain it to you. It becomes an A major 7th, right? And so the difference in that, right? This is an A chord. It's a major chord. Listen to this if everyone can hear. Right? It's really like telling you the truth. Business, Bob Dylan, got the major chords. I'm telling you what's happening. But if you make that, just by changing one note, you make it a major 7th. Can you hear that all right?
Yeah.
It becomes very peaceful. Listen, so this is A. This is A major 7th. Yeah, that's very peaceful.
Yeah.
Which also, in my mind, means reconciliation, which is what the chorus is about. So instead of going, which is he's telling the business about what's happening, when he gets to the chorus, he goes, it's that other chord, which is like now it's hard to hear because it's all distorted. So Sean, I apologise if I'm wrong there.
but
either way, that's what it fucking should have been anyway.
Or you're giving Sean too much credit. He's probably thinking, "Oh, okay, yeah, I'll take that."
well, no, go, Rossy. Sorry.
It's always my opinion that whenever you try and learn a song someone else wrote, you always make it harder than they did.
Yeah, you're probably right. It's clever that it's just those 3 chords, possibly 4. It's so simple. But
the 4th chord helps it resolve nicely, doesn't it?
If that chord is the major 7th in the chorus, then it's fantastic because he all of a sudden he starts singing about reconciliation with this girl, and exactly what that chord does. It resolves.
Yeah.
Brilliant if that's what it is. Just say yes, that's what
I
it is.
think it
Sean.
is. Yes, it is, Sean. Yeah, that's right. Sean's a genius.
Yeah, he is.
And the lyrics are so interesting, but as well, Braggy, and I know you're a real lyrics man, but it's almost that high school song, isn't it? Once again.
Yeah. Oh, here she is again. Oh, we used to have a thing.
Yeah.
And we had issues. Let's talk about them now that we're adults.
Better off as friends is one of the lyrics there.
Yeah.
It's just once again that lost love, that stoking of hope that we have in our hearts when we think of others.
It rocks though too, doesn't it? It still rocks.
Oh,
yeah.
Like live, it'd be going off.
And I like how, like Curly's right when he says "Good Charlotte." It's got a lot of that sort of pop punk. That's like those sort of bands, like they're just such a basis of that sort of thing.
Yeah. We've got the melodies in it too, So
and that's what I love about that. I love the energy of power pop or pop. Like power pop's really my favorite sort of genre, but pop punk, the energy. But when it's got a nice clean vocal over the top, it just drives it so nicely.
Yeah, let's talk about Sean's vocal. It's such a
pretty good.
It is, and it's just such a characteristic of the Ritzy Kids. I guess it's once again you hear Sean's vocals, it's the Ritzy Kids, and I found it interesting. And Braggy, it was interesting that you put it into that duality thing when you're talking all of a sudden the higher pitched voice, which
it's like it's the girl,
but it's almost like that first bit was, the first part of the song, the verse was really Sean playing it like low down, being cool. It's like, hey, I'm under the radar here almost, my vocals. And then it's like, I'm getting serious now, and up it goes.
Lift,
Up the octave.
Yeah, up the octave in it. That gives it a drive. It's pretty clever.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
And just like the pre-chorus part too is kind of, I don't know if it's a half-time beat or the drummer goes to the tom, so it just kind of eases off, and then bang, you're into that into the chorus.
Yeah.
This.
Okay. That's the Ritzy Kids with their new song lately.
Curly's going after Sean's gig now.
Curly from
Tony Curl from 2PFM, all Powderfinger all the time. So we used to always say there's a radio station in Brisbane called 2PFM that only played all Powderfinger all the time.
What about the solo, Rossy? It's like the same, like the start. You got those little motif at the start that you said, "Oh yeah, it's got me in straight away." Gets to the solo. I don't need to do anything special. Just need to make it, poppy as well and memorable, and get in and get out.
That's right. It goes to the breakdown, the halftime vocal breakdown, then bang out of the chorus, and off we go, off to the races.
Yeah. Now, I'm going to say there was one disappointment for me. All right, and I don't know whether this is, when the song slows a bit and it lowers in intensity and brings it down and then launches back into lately.
Yeah.
I was waiting for the gap. I was waiting for the space.
Dead stop.
Yeah, like a dead stop, like a drop. One of the first things you taught me, Braggy, was the drop, and I was waiting for the drop. Yeah. But it was a blended drop.
You do it easily for a radio edit. Do it easy for a radio edit.
Yeah, it was a blended drop. It didn't drop out completely. It just made you think about, what's he going to do? Is he going to get back with this girl, or is he just going to pass on and say, look, that things happened before.
Yeah.
Let's go. Let's get back into it. Look, it's a great little song, isn't it? Though, straight up.
I like a pop punk song. I like a pop punk song. I really like it.
Yeah. I've got to admit, I love the song. It's you listen to it, it gets you first time, it gets you hooked. One of the things of the Ritzy Kids, they like a good hook, don't they? They've got that power punk pop thing sort of locked in. Sean can write a song.
Yeah, he can write a song. There's heaps of hooks in that. Like we said, there's a hook at the start,
Yeah. I don't think he's going to hate us, Braggy.
What the hell is the cover thing about, though? What's going on there with the swamp?
It's the weeds. It's the weeds, and
it's the weeds. What's that about? Oh, it's weeds from your past. The weeds from your past.
Yeah, could be.
Cut back and you need to, is that what it is? Now we're definitely reading stuff into it.
Yeah, Sean, tell us.
Sean's probably going, that looks like a good picture. Put that up.
I think he's got some professionalism around the Ritzy Kids.
I think it's right.
The quality of the recording's pretty pro,
Yeah. I wonder where they did it, because if it's on the coast, he might have gone to Damien Gerard's, maybe.
Well, we should get him on. We should get him to reply a retort.
Yeah, we could do that. So
deep dive retort.
Let me see if I can find out where it was. lately. Where's song? I've got the lyrics. Thanks for that. Song info or view credits.
Got any names of people?
No.
Probably did it themselves.
So written by Sean Anthony Fraser. So Sean writes a good song. Produced by Sean Fraser.
Right. There you go.
Yeah. Self-produced. So
he's got all the royalties covered.
Yeah. So I think well done, Sean Fraser and the Ritzy Kids. So great song. They're pretty prolific nowadays, Braggy, when it comes to looking at their catalog now on Spotify. You know, we first started chatting with them at Breakthrough. 62,000 streams on Breakthrough.
Probably time to get him back on, Curly.
Yeah, I wonder if he's fixed his internet. So,
how long was the song?
3 minutes.
Exactly.
I think it is 2:59.
Sorry. Oh, beautiful.
Yeah. Exactly. That's how it's supposed to be.
Let's get to the chorus.
Yeah. So for all of our listeners and our viewers, if you're watching this, get onto the Ritzy Kids. The links will be in the show notes. Sean, I'm going to make sure you get a copy of this so that you can give us a reply. How close was Braggy to some of that deep understanding behind the song, or was it just, hey, I wrote this and it's good that Braggy sees that? You tell us. But yeah, it's a cracker of a song, and for everyone that is listening, you can do far worse than following the Ritzy Kids on Spotify or any of their channels, because follow them on Facebook. Sean posts a lot of the live stuff that they're doing on Facebook. You'll find out where they're performing. So, and it's just so good to see that journey, Braggy, that started off with just Sean and Mitch, and now he's got a band. They do album launches. So, well done, Sean Fraser.
And he's a great guy. He deserves it all.
Yeah, absolutely.
Hey, Curly, can we just touch on last week? We started a footy tipping comp between the three of us.
Yes.
And it was a bit of a disruptive sort of first round. I don't know what the AFL are doing there anyway.
Yeah, what is
that?
Played 2 games. Round zero.
Yeah. They couldn't get him to Las Vegas.
I don't get it. So between the three of us, if anyone wants to, I don't know, comment or say who they think is going to win, it's obviously going to be me. But anyway,
first round, he's running it, isn't it?
No, I post all the things. I'm going to be completely transparent. As you know, I would be.
Is a man you can trust, Braggy. Braggy is a man we can trust.
I think so. Mostly.
And so it's very close at the moment. So it's 4 for Curly, and that's because he missed. He must
rain assisted.
He was rain assisted. So I gave him an extra point, but he wouldn't have picked the Hawks to beat the Swans anyway.
I would have.
Would you?
Yeah,
because the Hawks 2 points if you want.
No, the Hawks are my team. I would have gone for the Hawks.
Would you pick the Giants?
Who are they playing?
Collingwood.
I possibly could have, but yeah.
I want to give you another point because I don't want to have controversy at the end.
No. I didn't put them in, so that's okay. I'm grateful for the point you gave me.
Okay, Curly on 4, Rossy's on 5, and Braggy's on 6. I think the problem with us is going to be we're always going to go for teams we like. We're going to go with our heart and not with our fucking head. But anyway, we'll just see what happens. It's very interesting. We've got the tips in for this week, so I'll report again next week.
Absolutely. Thank you very much, Braggy. That's very good. Well done.
Yeah,
thank you for your service, Braggy.
Got to fill up my time somehow.
And what we might do from next week is put the update right at the beginning of the episode so that we get the fun bit out of the way. All right, so there we have it. We've got our very first deep dive into a brand new single from one of the bands. So if you are listening to this, you are in a band, we seem to be getting more and more. We've had some people reaching out to us, so which
good.
is
That's
really,
what we want.
really pleasing. New bands. So I've got to work through some of that. So, but if you are keen and game and courageous enough for the boys to do a bit of a deep dive on your new single without wanting to come on the show, we're open for that as well. So, you can come on the show and talk about it, or the boys can do a deep dive. And I guess it's just that ability to have your choice. So did Braggy get it right? Did he get it wrong? As you can see, the boys both loved the new song by the Ritzy Kids called Lately. So, and you should too. So do yourself a favor. Who used to say that?
Put a hat on.
Yeah, put a hat on. All right, guys, I'm going to close her up. It's another quick, short, sharp episode. It has been awesome having you guys here. And once again, I learned something again tonight, and I always find it fascinating when I reach out and say, what you think of the song? And I get, sometimes you'll hear when you're talking to like normal people, they'll say, oh yeah, I really like that. It's got a good beat. I love the vocals. Braggy comes back with, it's got 2 chords. Okay.
I was wrong though. It has 3, definitely. Well, there could be a passing F sharp. I don't know. Sure.
Yeah.
Anyway, doesn't matter.
Absolutely. So next week, I think we might have a special guest. I just haven't nailed it down yet, so I won't talk about it. But we could have a special guest. But I know the week after that, we certainly have a special guest. And it's a duo, and they are quite huge, or becoming huger in huger. That's the word, in the new country space. And I'm really looking forward. Their name just escapes me, as you can tell. I'm just totally unprepared. But anyway, tune in next week to see whoever it is that we've got on the show. Thank you once again, Braggy. Thanks, Rossy. And of course, everyone's tipping for Curly to win the footy tipping contest. Until next week, we will see you all again.
Back in the Dragons.
See you later.
See you.